Okay, we're going to start off with this next example, example 2 on rate, and we are looking at Kieran and Javon. So the first thing that you're going to do every time that you have a word problem is you're going to identify what that word problem wants you to do and what information you know. So in this particular question, I have two pieces of information that I want to identify. The first is that Kieran ran a total of 8 laps in 18 minutes. I want to make sure that I understand what that means. The second is that Javon ran 6 laps of that track in 10 minutes. Faster, but less laps. And then the last part tells me what I'm going to have to answer. Who had the greater average speed and how do you know? So I'm going to organize my information nice and neat so that I don't have any mix-ups, read one number and think it means something else. And I'm going to create a table. In that table, I'm going to separate the information from Kieran and Javon. So the first thing that I'll have to do is find a common unit rate so that I can compare these two runners. The Kieran ran 18 minutes and Javon ran 10 minutes. Okay, so that's common. So what I'll do is I'll take that per minute because time fits nicely into that second term, and I'm going to convert the information so that I know what each runner ran in 1 minute, so per minute. How I do that, just like I did at the very start, I flip that over into something like a fraction, and I get that second term to be a 1. And I get that by dividing that second term by itself to yield a 1. I then would divide the numerator or the first term by the exact same thing. I go over to my calculator here, and I put 8 divided by 18. That equals 0.44444. So Kieran ran 0.44 laps per minute. Okay, so what I've found out then is that we've got 0.44 laps per minute, per 1 minute. That's messy, so I'll clean that up a little bit. Per 1 minute. I'm going to do the exact same thing down here with Javon. So Javon did 6 laps in 10 minutes. I divide that that denominator by itself, the second term, so I get a 1. I do the exact same thing to the top. Go over to my calculator, clear it off. 6 divided by 10 equals 0.6. Okay, so 0.6. So what that tells me then is that Javon was 0.6 laps per 1 minute. So obviously, Javon is faster. Now, the important thing about word problems is that this doesn't answer the question. I have to continue on and say, so for the first part, number 1, that Javon had the greater average speed. Now, if I were marking this, I'd look at this and it'd be very easy for me to see A, how you did your math, how you got your answer, and what your answers were stated as. So I wouldn't need a ton of information in your sentence answer. The second question is very important because it tells me that you know what you're doing to find the solution. So who had the greater average speed? We've answered. How do we know? To determine the greatest average speed, I found the unit rate for both runners. And I can see that you found the unit rate for both runners because it's evidenced right here in a nice, neat chart. You've used a calculator, but you've shown the math that supports your work. Those are crucial in solving word problems. And make sure that you write things out neatly so that it's easy to see what you did. Neater work equals less errors.